like the stream, like the stream, like the stream. Hey guys. Bro, why do you stream so late? It's 1 a.m. in India. Well, I'm not in India, so probably why. If you could return, don't let it burn, don't let it fade. I'm sure I might be rude, but it's just your attitude. It's tearing me apart, it's ruining every day. Sorry you guys have to see me like this. We don't have basketball for a while. I can't do the Cranberries any justice. I can't do the Irish. It's just your attitude. It's just your attitude. It's tearing me apart. It's tearing me apart. Can't quite find that perfect little pocket that I'm supposed to be in. It's ruining everything. You know I'm such a fool for you. Can't quite get there. Slightly, thoughts on Biased? He's a cool guy. He's a cool guy. He's a cool guy. He is. Didn't get out of the shower. Just walked outside for 20 seconds. This is pure sweat. It's from working, you know. You guys know nothing about it. All right, where should we start today? I do have a PowerPoint, believe it or not. Shouldn't be that much of a surprise. That is 47 slides, but I actually don't think it'll be that long to do. It's every single NBA player who played in the Olympics, and we did stock up, stock down for all of them. That should be fun. However, I do think that there's some interesting NBA schedule news that just came out that we could take a quick little peek at. Oh, am I really this big of a fucking idiot? All right. Well, this tweet was supposed to have was supposed to describe what the stream was going to be, but I guess not. I didn't mean just to tweet this picture out blankly, but all right. We all make mistakes. I make very little. That's why this is so surprising, but how long has the sunglasses bit been going on? Were you like in 7th grade gym class with Ray-Bans on? I came out the womb with $1,400 pair of exclusive Oakleys that they only wore during the Olympics at track meets. So Mavs didn't get an opening night game. I guess let's start there, huh? Who the fuck's DMing me? Actually, it was Reddit Mavs. Just sent me a very important update. Mavs Twitter tournament is this Saturday. I'm a little bit nervous. It's 3v3. My teammates are B-Dot, who is the mod in this chat, the primary mod. And Tim Cato is also my other teammate. I just received news. I was nervous because it was supposed to be a 3v3 full court tournament, which I admittedly don't know the last time, if ever, that I've played 3-on-3 full court. By the way. But it is now, apparently, breaking news, it is now a half-court tournament. It is now a half-court tournament. So that does change things actually quite a bit. That does change things quite dramatically. I am happy about that. I feel good enough about our shot creation ability in a half-court setting, mainly my own, to want it to be half-court and not a full-court track meet. Cato can hoop. I don't know. I'm hooping with him for the first time on Wednesday for sure. I've hooped with B-Dot. B-Dot can hoop for sure. I don't know if it's open to the public, to be honest with you. I'm honestly not sure. It's Reddit Mavs is the one who's the mastermind behind it all. So is it going to be live streamed? I do believe that it will be streamed. By TGK and Mavs Digest. So the PG only shoots 30% from 3 in the regular season like last season. Now that everyone is going to leave him open, do you think he'll be traded? No. No, Nick is not in it. Nick would have been on my team, but he'll be out of town again. Here's the rules. Participants must be at least 16 years of age, so half of you guys couldn't even go anyways. Follow and respect for Oak Cliff. Tournament teams must provide team-coordinated uniforms. Oh, shit. Okay. I wish that I had known this in advance, because I would have gotten a... I would have schemed up on some uniforms for sure. Next Monday's stream will... Yes, we'll go over some tape from the game. Yes. Give Cato an unblocked slightly shirt. We could do that. We could do the unblocked slightly shirts. I don't usually like hooping in like just straight t-shirts though. All games will be played under NBA rules and regulation. Any Mavs Twitter tournament specific exceptions detailed below. Tournament competition set for 8 teams. Double elimination. Games will be played 3v3 full court. That's been changed to half court. To a set score 15 points with a 10-minute running clock. Okay. Games will be played by 1s and 2s. So naturally 2s and 1s. 2s are so much more valuable. So we're just going to bomb 3s. Due to the running clock and short-lived aspect of the set score, timeouts will be null and void. Good. Don't need any timeouts. Teams will be allowed to have an alternate for substitutions. Alternate free of additional charge. Oh, interesting. 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 Now, there's a guy in my LA that is an absolute dog, and I know nothing about him. I don't even know his name. I might invite him to the tournament. Just, got to secure a win, man. The act of snowbirding, cherry picking. Okay, this won't matter since it's not full court. In a scenario where both teams are tied after the time has run out and neither team has reached the 15-point threshold, the winning team will be decided by the next basket made. Jump ball. Inconsistent jumper. We need consistent jumpers. Players under the influence of liquor or any other prohibited substance will not be eligible to participate. Now, I'm interested if steroids fall into that prohibited substance. I haven't seen a prohibited substance list. That could be a game changer for me. Games will start the set time. What is this? This isn't the NBA I know. This isn't even the NBA I know. Teams will have until 5 minutes past game time start to show up. Teams that reach the finals will be granted a free spot for the next tournament. So you hear that beat out. We'll get a free spot in the next tournament. Winning team will be awarded a Mavs Twitter tournament trophy. Nice. We'll have to figure out who gets it. We have the first game of the day. We have the first game of the day. Daniel, Cord, and Brian. All right. Daniel, Cord, and Brian. And then we have potentially if you win, a 2-hour wait. Whoa, man. That's a little brutal. For a 10-minute game, that's a lot of downtime. A lot of downtime. All right. So that should be a lot of fun, actually. I would look into streaming it myself, but since TGK and I believe Mavs Digest are already streaming it, I'll just let them do it. I'm sure I'll interact with their stream in some way, shape, or form. One thing that I'm absolutely sick and tired of is the Noah Lyles shit. So I guess we'll start here. Okay, I guess we'll start with the Olympics. I mean, obviously this should be the start. Would be sick if they could get Followell to commentate the Mavs tournament. Now that would be sick. That would be sick. I follow Followell on Instagram. The man just travels so much. I mean, I'm sure this is his downtime. So Team USA wins gold at the Olympics. In what was a incredible gold medal game. Everything that we could have asked for in the gold medal game. Just the Team USA, it coming down to the wire. That's why I said all I want is a good basketball game. It wouldn't affect my life in any way, shape, or form if Team USA lost or if they won. I just wanted a good, fun basketball game so I could see the best players in the world in a crunch time situation. And we got to see LeBron James, Steph Curry close it out. Steph Curry hit insane shot after insane shot. That last three when he was double teamed is genuinely one of the crazier shots you will ever see. And on top of that, you get to see Victor Wembanyama have a moment. I mean, he was really good in that game. Unfortunately, it was in a losing effort for France, but I thought he played really well. He led each team in scoring. And it's easy to forget that he's 20 years old. And he hit a couple big threes as well. Insane Magnum ball. No, that was just Steph Curry doing Steph Curry shit. So naturally, are we the world champs now? The official USA basketball account tweeted this out. This came with a community note. This is the dumbest thing going on right now, I think. I actually think this is the stupidest sporting topic of conversation that is happening currently. The community note, of course, this is in reference to Noah Lyles saying that you're not the world champions. Teams calling themselves world champions after winning a league championship. Now, I don't care about this at all. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care to argue it. I've made the argument before, and I went back and I looked at an old stream where I first talked about this just to make sure this was my opinion at the time, and it was that the NBA is the best talent in the world. It's the best league in the world. I don't see too much of a problem calling yourself the world champions if you win that. But, again, I don't really give a shit. It doesn't matter to me at all. Obviously, Germany won the World Cup, so they've been the world champion. The community note to this: no, this was the Olympic tournament. They're the Olympic champions. The world champion titles for national teams is decided in the FIBA Basketball World Cup. The current world champion is Germany, who won the most recent tournament in 2023. I mean, this is just absolutely baloney and corny. What did Dirk say about this topic? What did the GOAT say? So, I mean, if this is true, then who gives a fuck about being world champion? Like, it doesn't mean shit. This is the pinnacle of the competition, of international competition. This is it. The Olympics in basketball is the peak of the competition, of the sport. All right, that's not true for all sports. Obviously, for football, it's the World Cup, right? Because the Olympics are under 23. The Olympics is the pinnacle of the competition. It's a limited pool. There's not, the World Cup has something like 16, 20 teams. There's only 8 teams, I think, in the Olympics, something like that. Each team sends their best. We already know the World Cup, Team USA sends out good teams. Like, they should win the World Cup every year, even with their B team or C team. But the Olympics is when the Team USA sends their A team. That's when their guys go. The Dream Team, the Redeem Team, the Avengers, that's when they go. So when every other country sends their guys, their best, it's just the stupidest shit in the world. I posted in your Discord. It's like 2 minutes. Honestly, I don't know the last time I opened my Discord. Is shit going on in there? Is shit happening in my Discord? If stuff's going on in my Discord and it's not good, I apologize. Is this it right
Speaking of 5-on-5 basketball, Germany again made history. First ever Olympic semifinals for your team as well. And I just had this idea, who do you think would win? This Germany team and Franz Wagner, Dennis Schroeder, Discord, or early 2000s team that won Eurobasket silver, World Cup bronze with Dirk, Patrick Femerling, Ademola Kulaja, Demirel, Marko Pesic, all these guys. Who do you pick?
We had a good bunch, and I'm not sure if we would have stood a chance, but we would have given them a fight for sure.
Okay. Usually OGs pick their team, but it's hard to match this.
Dirk is just too humble for that.
I mean, this is a team that won the World Cup, so this is a very strong team.
So now I have a tough one. Who are the true world champions? 2011 Dallas Mavericks or 2023 German national team?
I would say both, but title-wise, obviously the 2023 German national team are the truly world champs. I like NBA champs. To me, that's fine. We fought long and hard and finally get an NBA championship. That's fine to me. Leave the world championships to somebody else.
But what did you think about this whole debate?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. The NBA is the best league in the world, and so of course, when you win it, you call yourself the world champs. But technically, it's not a world championship. So, I mean, I get both sides. I played FIBA, I played NBA, so I get both arguments. I'm not really sure there is a right argument. So
it's literally just semantics. Like, it genuinely just is. It's a stupid argument. It is a stupid argument. Oh yeah, the German team. I mean, Dirk obviously is the best player out of any of those past German teams versus the current German teams. But I'm not putting any. I saw this clip of Kenny Atkinson. I'm not watching any FIBA highlights on this stream. It's very scary what they've got going on. Anyways, this has turned into one of the lamest things going on in sports. This constant back and forth of that Noah Lyles was getting salty with Adidas and Anthony Edwards for some reason. A title's not semantics. Is it? It is though. Like the world champ argument. And again, I hate that I'm even doing this because I really don't care enough. But it's just they won the world competition where they could call themselves the world champs. But now Team USA won the other world championship, or the next international competition. That is the most important one when it comes to basketball. That is the one that historically has been the most important one. And it's like, no, actually, you're still not world champion. You're the Olympic champion. It's fucking stupid. You can't claim a title on paper when there's an actual competition. Okay, the Olympics are the actual competition. The Olympics are the big international competition. Anyone who's saying otherwise, that Team USA is not the world champs currently, they're hating. I'm sorry. They're hating. You are being a hater. You are hating democracy. Just kidding. Not really, though. You are being a hater. Just admit it. Just admit it. All right, where was the Noah Lyles, Anthony Edwards drama? This is so stupid. This is genuinely so stupid. Noah Lyles was offended when Adidas invited him to an Anthony Edwards event last year. When Lyles was negotiating, this is so dumb. When Lyles was negotiating an Adidas contract extension last year, the company, he says, through what it thought was a bone. Adidas invited him to the shoe release event for Anthony Edwards. Great shoe. The rising Minnesota Timberwolves star, who's got plenty of talent, but unlike Lyles, isn't a 6-time world champs. You know, to do what, says Lyles. You want to invite me to an event for a man who's not even been in NBA Finals? In a sport that you don't even care about, and you're giving him a shoe? No disrespect. The man is an amazing athlete. He's having a heck of a year. I love that they saw the insight to give him a shoe because they saw what he's going to be big. All I'm asking is, how could you not see that for me? Adidas declined to comment. In February, Lyles signed a new deal with the company, reportedly the most lucrative track and field contract in the post-Bolt era. No disrespect always comes before disrespect. Yeah. Dude paints his fingernails. Let him stay home. What's wrong with painting your fingernails? It can look cool. There's no problems with it. Who gives a shit? I don't get this. Does Noah Lyles? I don't know. I don't know much about Noah Lyles. Truth be told, does he? He might not be like a basketball person at all, because this is how basketball shoes have always been. The companies want to get the young guys before they become the X amount NBA champs and in finals MVPs. You want to get in there before. The whole thing is just notice me, senpai, from both sides. Well, most people aren't buying track shoes, but everyone buys basketball shoes. Well, that's not necessarily true. There's probably more people who buy running shoes than basketball shoes. That if I had to guess. Without, like, they could make a Noah Lyles, runner shoe. And you could people would just go to the Adidas store and buy like a running shoe without even really knowing it's a Noah Lyles shoe. I guess that would be the difference. Where basketball, you're buying the Anthony Edwards because you like Anthony Edwards. Does that make sense? I don't buy basketball shoes, but I'm more likely to buy a name shoe in basketball section than I am a running shoe with a name on it. Just tuning in is slightly biased. A Chiefs fan now. Patrick Mahomes fan. And by the way, this is a big announcement here. The EPL, as us Brits refer to it as the English Premier League, begins Friday, I believe, right? I am a Red Raider. A Red Raider alumnus. Us Brits like to call it the EPL. When does that start? August 16th. We are 4 days away. I have withered it down to 3 teams. 3 teams that I will be rooting for. And I'm telling you right now, I want to watch and follow along. Now, if you guys know any football content creators out there that kind of have a similar vibe to me that you think I could possibly interact with, please don't hesitate to link them with me. Please don't hesitate to reach out to them. I would love to learn more about the sport. I want to follow the EPL. And on top of that, the EPL, again, that's just what us Brits call the English Premier League. It's short. EPL, similar to how you Yankees say the NBA for the National Basketball. So we say the EPL. The EPL starts on Friday, and you can watch it on playback. Now, there's a world where we do playback streams for the Premier League. Think about that. Think about that for one tiny second. I have withered it down to 3 teams, ladies and gentlemen, and I cannot wait for you guys to find out who I'm rooting for. I'm still thinking about it, too. I'm still thinking about it. I'm not fully there yet. We're deciding between Arsenal. We're deciding between Tottenham Hotspur. And we are also deciding between West Ham United. Those are the 3 teams that we are deciding between. All London teams. Yeah, I'm a London boy. All London teams. I have given up on Manchester United, and when I say given up, I mean I never started. So you can't really give up what you didn't start. Let it burn, don't let it fade. I'm sure I might be rude, but it's just your attitude. It's tearing me apart. It's ruining every day. Oh. Got a little emotional. You'll go with whoever brings you more views, and you know it. Here's the thing. I have no idea. I don't know who it is. I assume I know who it is, but I don't know who it is. Talk about, yeah, we are 30 minutes into the stream, and we've talked, wow, are we actually 30 minutes into the stream? What the fuck? All right, let's get down to business. We've talked about nothing. We've actually talked about nothing. I don't know if I can
this
show
fourth.
this. Oh, I really want to talk about this. Let's actually start here. This is actually really interesting to me. So it was a great tournament in the Olympics for basketball, both men's and women's. The women's championship game, it was really ugly, admittedly, some really bad basketball being played, but it was a fun game and a fun tournament all in all. USA wins again. They haven't lost an Olympic game in something like 20 years or some crazy shit like that. The Team USA men's, it was an incredible tournament, a lot of fun. The Serbia game was amazing. The gold medal game obviously was incredible. And look at these numbers. The gold medal game did gangbusters ratings-wise. USA versus France, 19.6 million views. It is the most watched basketball game since 2016 by a lot. And at its peak, I saw, this is a real source, by the way, because I had to double check it because it was Caitlin Clark report. I had to make sure that this was correct. It is correct. The peak viewership for this game was 22.6 million during the final quarter. So a ton of people tuned in to watch. What can the NBA learn from this? What can the NBA learn from this? It's no secret the ratings haven't really been where the NBA wants them to be. Right? Over the past couple of years, the finals ratings, they kind of continuously are dipping. The playoff ratings aren't as high as you would like them to be. The marquee matchups aren't as high as you want them to be. Now, there's a couple reasons for this, I would say. A lot of it has to do with the fact that a lot of these games are on TNT or on ESPN. Those are cable channels that you have to have certain packages for, right? A lot of this also has to do with the fact, and I actually genuinely believe there's a reason for this. The games, you don't know when they're starting. That sounds stupid, but I actually think it factors into the ratings. Where the Olympic Games, hey, the games start at 7:30. The game's starting at 7:30. The game starts at 2. The game starts at 2. NBA is like, the game starts at 2, guys. It's 2:36. You're like, is this game happening? Is there a delay? Like, what's happening here? So what can the NBA take away from this? Now, it's not necessarily fair because the single elimination aspect of this all, the do or die game, obviously means that these games are going to be much more important. I'm assuming the Iowa South Carolina game, 18.9 million, that was the championship game, right? I'm assuming that's the game that this is referring to, the NCAA Women's Championship game this past year. So the winner go home game will always have higher stakes that people are more interested in. And the NBA, unless it gets to a game 7, doesn't really have that. But there are some other things. There are some other things that the NBA can take away. Obviously, having Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James all sharing the court together on the same team, you're not going to have that either. I mean, I would assume not, at least not in the coming years. But the fact that it's on NBC bodes well for the future because we know NBC landed NBA rights. They're going to be broadcasting some NBA games in the near future. They did a great job, I thought. They did a tremendous job during this tournament. The presentation was great. The music, I mean, you can't beat Hardball Rock. It's incredible. Noah Eagle did a really, really good job, and I hope that he is a part of their future, which I'd assume he is. I like that the halftime shows were brief, and there wasn't a 7-person desk. Now, that's because that's how they just do it for the Olympics, the FIBA rules and stuff. The halftimes are shorter, but no one likes the fucking ESPN halftime shows. No one likes them. Okay? No one likes there being 8 people talking over each other for 30 seconds. It is the worst television that there is right now. Go and look at each individual television channel. Go watch the shows that air at 3 o'clock in the morning when they don't want anyone to watch. Go watch the infomercials, if that's still a thing. The channels that do nothing but infomercials for a full 30 minutes, I would much rather watch that than ESPN's halftime show for the NBA. It is the worst, most garbage product that has ever been brought to a consumer audience. Okay? All right. But the NBA, what can we take away? People like, and there's been a big misconception here, and I've grown to realize this because I used to think I liked FIBA refs more. The officiating in this tournament was atrocious. It was actually terrible. The refs sucked. Okay? So people say, I like the refs more. I like the rules more. I don't think that's true. I don't think you do. I hate the goaltending rule. I think it's stupid. I would never want it in the NBA when you can hit the ball off the rim. I think it's so dumb. I'm happy that that's not a rule in the NBA. Okay? I'm happy that's not a rule in the NBA. I think for the NBA, the three-point line needs to be longer. It just has to be because these guys are so good. A shorter three-point line would just mean more points and more threes being bombed. If it's at 3 seconds, we could talk about it. Okay, we could talk about it. But with the court bigger, I don't think it would make a lot of sense. What people like is the flow of the game. Do the refs let, a little bit more contact go? Yeah, maybe. But the game just flows better. 10-minute quarters, I don't know if I would want that, but it's a running clock. You don't have to pass the ball to the ref. You can inbound immediately if you want. There's very little to no TV timeouts. When there are timeouts on the court, they're actually 60 seconds long. There's not a million commercial breaks. It just flows so well. And here's the thing about basketball. Basketball is a free-flowing game. The NFL can survive with there being 10 minutes of actual game action happening over the course of 3 hours and everybody tuning in because it's like a turn-based game. You know what it is? It's like, all right, we can chill and relax for the next minute, and we know that there's going to be a big play here in the next 30 seconds, right? Basketball is a free-flowing game. It's constant. It's up and down. So there being stoppages every 3 to 4 minutes so we can go to timeout. So there's a review. We have to do this. There's a review. 30-second timeout, except it's a 3-minute timeout. Now we're going to a commercial break. 1-minute timeout, except now it's a 5-minute timeout. We're going to a commercial break. TV timeout. We're going to a commercial break. We're going to review this. We're going to a commercial break. It really impedes on the free-flowing nature of the game. It's the intensity. Dude, I watched so many NBA games. NBA games are intense, man. These guys try. They do. I know this has become this talking point that NBA players don't try during the regular season. NBA teams don't care. Yes, they do. They do. They play hard. They care. These guys are some of the most competitive people on the planet. They're playing to win. They're playing for contracts. They're playing for all of this shit. It literally is the stoppages. That's it. It is the stoppages. I'm telling you right now, if the NBA cut the TV timeouts from the equation and said, look, we'll go to commercials during timeouts, but we're not adding in TV timeouts. We'll figure out other ways to make up for it. And the game just kind of flowed better. I guarantee you it would be such a better product. It would just feel so much better watching. But they can't do that because they need money. Now, I'm wondering if Amazon coming into the fold means they can sort of change how they approach these things. They can change how they approach the broadcast because it is a new era. You could sell on screen, like it being on Amazon means you can literally have in the corner, hey, heard you might need a new Dawn dish soap. How the fuck do you know that? Oh, because I just heard you say it out loud to your wife. Oh, okay, that's really weird. Now it's on the bottom right corner of the screen and I can click on it and just buy right there. We don't need a commercial break now. I don't even mind the announcer saying today's broadcast is sponsored by. Yeah, I agree. I had people, because I've been saying forever that the FIBA broadcasting is just 10 times better than the NBA broadcasting. And it is because of the flow of the game and the lower amount of commercial breaks. And people who I guess disagree will tweet me every now and then an ad break where it's half the screen is like a peek into the coaches during the timeout, in the huddle. And there'll be like an ad on the other half of the screen. And they're like, see, they still do it. Dude, I would much rather that. That's so much better than what we currently get, where it's just the same fucking 6 commercials on loop for 5 minutes. And it's really jarring when you're at the stadium. And it's like these timeouts are so long, especially in the playoffs. They are so long, and the players are just standing on the court. It's just like so wonky. It's just so wonky, and it messes with the flow of the game in a game that is very free-flowing. Now, it's funny I say that because college basketball is the worst culprit of this. Their games are borderline unwatchable. Borderline unwatchable with the amount of TV timeouts, the stoppages. It's terrible. But they get to the March Madness, and it is the one-game elimination hype. Part of why I think the NBA should maybe go back to a 5-game series for round 1. Just think about it. I mean, how often do you get a really, really fun and exciting first-round series? Feels very, very rarely. Let's go back to a 5-game series for round 1. Less mileage on the players. The NBA playoffs already take too long. Like, they just do. It's insane how long they last. It really set in this year as the Mavericks fan. The dichotomy between last year, the Mavericks not making the playoffs at all, and sitting through that entire 2 to 3 month long process, versus them making the finals and we're in it, and the playoffs are 2 months long. Mavs versus Clippers, but you would have more entertaining series if you cut it down to best of 5. And they're never going to do it. They're never going to do it because it's money. But how could we convince them? How could we convince them that? Money's not the end all be all. Money's not the end all be all. Look, your ratings are taking a shit. I'm not really a ratings guy. I've said it all the time that I think football ratings are fake. I really do. They don't make any sense to me. Nobody I know cares that much about football. They're fucking fake. Investigate them. They might kill me for suggesting this. But the ratings are kind of taking a shit for the NBA. And it doesn't match up. It doesn't match up because anytime something basketball related happens, like the gold medal game, which gets 22 million viewers at its peak, shows people care about basketball and people want to watch basketball. Then when you go on Twitter on a random Tuesday night in January and LaMelo Ball has 46 points and just hit a three after breaking Eric Gordon's ankles, guess what the number one trending topic is on Twitter? It's LaMelo Ball. People care. No sport has more social media engagement than basketball. That's a true fact. That's a true fact that they've done studies on. No, it's true. The NBA has more social media engagement than any of the major sport leagues. Twitter's not real life. Well, it does give you a good indication of how many people care about your sport. And I disagree. I think social media in general, you want to be in the good graces of people on social media because that's usually a younger demographic. And in 20 years, that younger demographic is going to be the demographic that's going to be carrying your ratings in a lot of ways. It is funny how regular season goes for 6 months and the playoffs go for 2 months. The playoffs, I think, go on too long. People stop caring at a certain point, honestly. Or people are just like, I don't care. I'll wait till the finals. It's like 2 months. I think cutting the first round of 5 games could work. I mean, the more basketball for me, the better. I don't care. There being an 82-game schedule, yes, I like that. There's some more basketball. There being a 3-month-long playoffs, yeah, cool. More basketball every night. I can look forward to playoff basketball. But if we're just talking about in the future, how can we improve ratings? How can we capitalize on this ginormous audience that clearly likes basketball and clearly wants to watch it? That's a huge number. I mean, that is a huge number. And I think it also helps that it was in the middle of the day on a Sunday. That they don't really do that. And when they do that, it doesn't really feel like they pump it up as much as they should. Like there's some really good ABC Sunday games. That crazy Mavs Nuggets game was a primetime ABC game on a Sunday. Trying to think of some other ones. I know that crazy Mavs Suns game from a year ago was on an ABC Sunday. I don't know. These are not international numbers. I think these are USA numbers. I really think it's how the NBA is broadcasted. I think there's too many commercial breaks. There's too many stoppages. It doesn't help that the national games are either covered by TNT, where the halftime crew and the postgame crew, who I love and are funny and they're entertaining, and if you're a basketball fan and you're looking at them for basketball takes, you shouldn't be doing that. But it doesn't help that they're laughing at the current NBA, making fun of the current NBA, talking shit about everybody in the current NBA pretty much, openly stating that they don't watch nor care about X amount of teams. And then the other one is ESPN, which is dog shit, which is going to infest every single game that's going on with whatever they want to talk about tomorrow. It could be the New York Knicks versus the Milwaukee Bucks. What a fun game. There's a 2 seed versus the 3 seed. This is a really important game. This could be a preview of a playoff matchup. Then we get to halftime. Is JJ Redick on the hot seat in LA? We don't give a fuck. NBA operates unlike any other sport right now, with how the sport's broadcasted and talked about by its big media partners. Which is a damn shame. There's so many smart people who love the game and talk about it in such a smart way. And it's just, this is why I'm okay with Inside the NBA being done. I have to be honest with you. I think its time has come to an end. I think its time has come to an end. It's fun. It's been funny. They watch less and less than they ever have. They know less and less than they ever have, which is saying a lot. But I wasn't that sad when it came out that TNT was done. It's good. TNT, it's time to move on. TNT's going to look like a dinosaur in 5 years. In 5 years from now, TNT will look like a dinosaur compared to like what Amazon has going on. The NFL media's coverage is a little bit better. It's way better. It is way better. You don't have like this constant, like, you might compare players, and I have no problem with this, comparing players to their counterparts who are currently in the league. That's all fine. That's cool, because that kind of sparks the conversation, and then when those two players match up, you want to watch it. It's not like this historical overlying thing that it always is. It's not like, well, this player's good now, but back when I played in the 2000s, he wouldn't be able to average 30 points a game. He couldn't average 30 points a game in the 2000s. Like, nobody's actually going on ESPN shows, and they're like, dude, this guy couldn't throw for 4,000 yards 15 years ago, man. This guy couldn't do it. This guy wouldn't have had 12 touchdown catches 14 years ago. It's so stupid when you think about it. Yeah, the NFL doesn't clown their own product. They focus all their time on big market teams. And they don't focus all their time on big market teams. It's because they're fucking terrified. Like, the NFL will lay down the hammer on them. They are scared. The NFL has broadcasting companies terrified because you don't want to lose the NFL. And you don't want to piss the NFL off. NBA is just like, yeah, we don't give a fuck, guys. What are you guys talking about today? Oh, our league sucks now and no one plays defense? Oh, you guys are crazy. Here's 2 Wednesday night games. Oh, wait, what's that? Your whole post-game cast is laughing about how they haven't watched games in weeks. Oh, here's 2 Thursday night games. You guys are a blast. You guys are so funny. Oh, man. What's this? The NBA All-Star Game's complete and total shit and everyone's making fun of it? Well, it is complete and total shit. Oh, you're great. Here's a first-round series. It's trash how the sport's talked about. And whenever I'm running the show, trust me, folks, these numbers, maybe add another 0. 190 million views. It's all just like, this player couldn't do this in this era. Well, this player 20 years ago is better than this player. It's embarrassing. $190 million. It's going to be $190 million. $190 million on a random Friday night Charlotte Hornets versus Washington Wizards game. We're going to really market to the sickos. $1.9 billion. Doesn't like the Champions League final get like to 1 billion views? World Cup final? Ecuador's tournament opening win over oh my god, that's just the opening game? $1.5 billion? Oh my god. FIBA has claimed that around 1.5 billion people watched the 2022 World Cup final live on television. Wow. World Cup final said just 26 million. Well, that's probably in the United States. Holy shit. Holy shit. World Cup final got 2 billion last time. Damn. All right. We also have some scheduling news. Did the Dallas Mavericks get disrespected, folks? We are a couple of days away, I think at least, from the NBA dropping the full schedule for the upcoming season. Do I really care about that? Not overly. It's funny because I have a Bleacher Report stream set for Thursday, I think, where I'm supposed to do a win-loss prediction going over the entire Dallas Mavericks schedule. I'm going to tell you right now, that's not what we will be doing on that stream. That's absolutely insane to me. But we do have some NBA schedule news. We know who's playing on opening night. That'll be the Knicks at the Celtics. First game of the season, October 22nd on TNT. And then the Timberwolves at the Lakers. So those are your two opening night games. That's typically how it goes. Opening night on TNT, you get two games. It's typically the champions from the year before get their ring night. And yeah, the Lakers, that makes sense. Knicks Celtics is a good one, though. That's a good one. We knew the Celtics were going to get a home game on this night. Just the most obvious thing. Some people said Mavs at Celtics. They weren't going to do that. That would have been nuts, in my opinion. But Knicks at Celtics is good and fun. I mean, that could be an Eastern Conference Finals preview. This is what the Knicks have built their team to beat the Celtics, basically, and we get to see it on opening night. Should be an absolute blast. And obviously the Celtics get their rings. So that should be fun. Timberwolves at Lakers. So the Lakers get an opening night game. Obviously, we talked about this a little bit when we talked about the Christmas Day schedule. Just from a pure basketball perspective, the Lakers, I mean, they're going to be okay. They're going to be okay. They're going to be a play-in team. They're going to be a play-in team, probably. Timberwolves should be fun. Them getting an opening night game, I think, is fun. They were in the Western Conference Finals a year ago, obviously. Lost in 5 games. That's neither here nor there. They did make the conference finals. Anthony Edwards is being positioned by the NBA to be one of the faces of the league following the retirement of guys like LeBron and Steph Curry. So it makes sense. It makes sense that the Lakers get a game. You know, it has to be a West Coast team. So you're between the Lakers, the Clippers, who are going to be shit. The Kings, sorry, no offense, no way. Could have gone with Phoenix. Could have gone with Denver. Portland? Jazz versus Portland on opening night? That would have been sick. Can you imagine if that's what it was? The reaction on Twitter? If it was Knicks at Celtics, ring night, really big matchup. That's a lot of fun. Jazz versus Trailblazers. So did the Mavericks get disrespected? I've seen a lot of people say that. Should the Mavericks be playing on ring night? I mean, on opening night. It could be Hornets in Brooklyn. It could be like a fun idea if it was opening night is going to be the two teams from the finals the year before. Each get a home game on opening night. Now, you run into some problems there with time zones and stuff. Could be a fun little idea. Mavs should have had an opening night. I didn't really expect the Mavericks to be on opening night, to be honest with you. And I don't really think it's that big of a deal. I would want their first game of the season to be at home. And if you think about it, if the Celtics, let's just say the Celtics game starts at 6 Eastern, that means the Mavs game local time would have to start at 8:30 or even 9. Like, that would be trash. That would be trash. Why does this fan base realize that the rest of the country does not like watching Luka play basketball? That's an interesting little part too. That Luka's a very popular player. I would say that the rest of the country doesn't like watching Luka play basketball, but I don't think he's quite the draw that a lot of people inside the Mavs fan base think he is. Like, LeBron and the Lakers are always going to have priority over the Mavs just when the league is looking to milk some ratings. The Warriors will always have priority. The Knicks will have priority. The Celtics will have priority. Mavs versus Lakers, Celtics versus Thunder on opening night would be crazy. I like Knicks at Celtics. That's a good one. I'm okay with that. I mean, Timberwolves Lakers is pretty fun, though. And I know deep down what the NBA is hoping for by putting the Lakers on opening night. You know the angle that they're going for here. the angle that they're going for is the Bronny James, Bronny LeBron. They want this historic moment to happen on opening night. Now the question is, do the Lakers give into the pressure and do it? Do they say, no matter what, Bronny, you're going to get some minutes here on opening night? How great if Bronny was on that Olympic team. You want to know what popped into my brain? I mentioned this on my playback stream during the gold medal game. On a scale of 1 to 10, if you ask me how surprised would I be if LeBron is on the 2028 Olympic roster, my answer would be an 8. It'd be surprised, but it wouldn't be like a, oh my, I can't believe this level of surprised. What if LeBron in 2028 is like, I'll play on the Olympic team. I'm LeBron James. You better say yes to me. My son has to be on it. LeBron, your son hasn't been in the NBA in 3 years. This is a little ridiculous. No, he has to be on it. Slightly, are those shirts still not sent out yet? The Unblocked Slightly shirts? They have all been sent out. Every Unblocked Slightly shirt has been sent. Have you not gotten yours? Here's some Dallas Mavericks centered news. Klay Thompson's first return trip to the Bay Area. November 12th on TNT when the Mavericks visit the Warriors at Chase Center. So I misread this when it first came out. I thought this was an opening. I thought this was the Mavericks' first game of the season. And I was actually upset by that. That their first game of the season is a West Coast trip in Golden State. But this will be fun early in the season. November 12th on TNT. He'll get a huge ovation, obviously. I mean, he didn't really leave there. It's the in-season tournament. Is it really? Okay, cool. Interesting. Any news or updates into what they're going to be doing for the courts? Are they going to be revisiting those courts, or what's going to be the deal there? All right, if you didn't get yours, Sevens, then DM me on Twitter or something. I did get one return to sender package. That could be yours. I wouldn't be surprised if the Warriors fans booed him. No, they're not going to boo him. Klay's not getting booed. He's not getting booed. Absolutely not. It's going to be emotional. It's going to be a good amount of fun. Now, it's going to feel a little bit fucking goofy if the Mavericks have some stupid-ass jersey on and the Warriors have some stupid-ass jersey on a neon yellow court because it's the in-season tournament. Like, that would feel a little stupid. Klay Thompson's big return. The court's purple. What a great moment. The Mavs are wearing a graffiti jersey. The Warriors have their piss-stained jerseys. Was that this past year that the Warriors had those ugly-ass jerseys? The PP-stained jerseys? It's just so bad. So bad. Honestly, no. These are not cool. No. They literally, it looks like somebody peed in their pants. These are cool. These are not them. These are cool. These are cool. These are not cool. The Mavs couldn't even use the court because the three-point line was off. And what's actually a shame is the Mavericks court was actually pretty cool. So that should be fun to watch. November 12th, Klay Thompson returned to Golden State. Have you talked about Jamarion Sharp yet? What is there to talk about? Another notable NBA opener, Milwaukee Bucks at Philadelphia 76ers on October 23rd. Should I watch this?
Some NBA news to share with us, Shams?
We just got this. So I put out the Christmas Day schedule the other day, but opening night of the 2024-2025 season on October 22nd, according to my sources, Knicks at Celtics for ring night. Yes. Shout out Boston Connor. Yes. So Knicks at Celtics is ring night on October 20th. At Celtics is ring night on October 22nd.
So somebody who watches this show regularly, please fill me in. I never understand why there's 9 people in the background. Why are there so many? It's not just Pat McAfee's show. Most shows like this, there's like such a large cast. What is the reasoning for that? It's what makes it fun. All right, I mean, if you say so, I don't watch.
And then the second game that night, hear this: Timberwolves at Lakers. That is the opening night schedule. Knicks at Celtics, Timberwolves at Lakers. And you think about, for Anthony Edwards, 2 primetime slots in the NBA calendar, major slots in the NBA calendar. You get opening night, and then you get Christmas Day. The Timberwolves obviously on the rise. Victor Wembanyama also going to get a Christmas Day game this year. And then we know about the Sixers. Them getting Paul George. They're also going to be one of the opening games on ESPN, October 23rd, against the Bucks. They're going to host the Bucks on October 23rd.
I just still can't believe he could say fuck on ESPN. I don't remember when we were watching that clip, but it blew my mind.
There are a few other notable games. November 12th, Klay Thompson goes back to the Bay, goes back to the
Okay.
So that'll be another notable game. And then the NBA Finals rematches. Mavericks, Celtics, in
That's just that's an insane thing. Mavericks Celtics Finals rematch, January 25th in Dallas, February 6th in Boston. So pretty close together, pretty close to the trade deadline. No, he's not saying F on ESPN. The segment is streaming straight to YouTube. Oh, wait, what? So should Woj be worried that Shams is stepping on his ESPN territory? Yeah, it's a little weird that Shams is on an ESPN show. Am I the only one that couldn't care less about the finals rematch? It wasn't a good series. It just wasn't. It was not a fun or entertaining series. So there's no real like beef or bad blood or anything. Maybe this will give Kyrie a nice chance to exercise some of his demons, because they're going to be giving him a lot of shit in Boston still. February 6th is the trade deadline day. So this game is on the trade deadline. I think that all sports, and this is really only for sports that play games every day, so MLB, NBA, NHL, the trade deadline should be an off day. It should just be a league-wide, nobody's playing today. Such a strange day. You can make up for it. Like, there's just so much interest in the trades themselves. Then have the trade deadline be like at 7 p.m. and there could be a huge primetime special. But it's just weird and wonky vibes. Didn't the Mavs play the Knicks on trade deadline last year, or was it the day after the trade deadline and their team was like gone? So the Mavs play on trade deadline day in Boston. Interesting. We know the Mavericks are usually booked and busy at the trade deadline. I'm hoping this year is actually not a busy trade deadline for the Mavs. The last 2 years have been really big. Trading for Kyrie, obviously. The last 3 years, really. Trading away KP, trading for Kyrie, giving up 2 firsts, essentially, for PJ and Gafford. And those all kind of came out of desperation in a lot of ways. All 3 of those trade deadlines were kind of, I don't want to say acts of desperation because they were good moves, but the Mavs really needed some changes. I'm hoping this year, I talked about this on a Locked On. I don't know if it's the one that's came out yet or the one that's coming out in a couple days, but I just hope the Mavericks are a good start to the season. There's not like this desperate need for shakeup in February. I'm sure they'll make a move because they're one of the busiest teams in the NBA when it comes to transactions. The Los Angeles Clippers are slated to open their new Intuit Dome for the first regular season game on October 23rd, hosting the Phoenix Suns. That should be fun. I'm interested in this stadium. They built an entire basketball arena with the idea of the fan experience being at the forefront, or so they say. And it looks really interesting. I'm excited to see what it looks like. Now, it's just unfortunate the Clippers are probably not going to be a very fun basketball team this upcoming season. But I'm still interested to see what the stadium looks like. So that's what we know right now for the NBA schedule. We have our opening night games, which is the Knicks at the Celtics. That's a fun game. Timberwolves at Lakers. You know, the Lakers it's the Lakers. It's LeBron. The league is going to milk that while they can. Who knows how much longer it's got. And Anthony Edwards is, a future face of the NBA. So it makes sense. The Mavs are disrespected. It does give you a little, hey, listen, guys. I just opened my Twitter, and no bullshit. I'm trying to find something to segue into our next segment of this stream, this beautiful stream. You want to know the first fucking thing I see pop up? I'm not even tagged in it. Tears Dog. Y'all know exactly who he looks like. Are you shitting me? I don't even think I have a hat. Hold up. Let me find one. Let me find one. Wait, hold up. Are you shitting me?
Your first Faceless YouTube channel and you're a complete beginner, then watch this. So what I will say is you're probably going to do everything wrong. You're probably going to pick the wrong niche. You're probably going to find something that you have a tough time making. You're probably going to have to get shadow banned or something. I don't know. But what I will say is if you don't give up and you show up consistently, it's inevitable that you're going to have success and get results. And so this is the trick that I have for anybody getting started is don't view it through you have to make this one channel work. Instead, view it through the system of if I upload 10 videos on this channel and it doesn't work out, I will go do another one. If you go do 3 channels,
try to get a good
channels,
screenshot of
trying
this.
ones out, you keep getting better. And here's the thing is you learn from every video. Every video that you learn was every video that you upload that you didn't learn from was a waste of resources. It was a waste of time, it was a waste of money, it was not an investment. Every video that you upload and maybe you don't make money from but you learn from it is an investment. It's an investment into yourself, it's an investment into your business, it's an investment into your future, it's an investment into your systems. And so as long as you learn from everything you do, from every channel that you make, and just view this as, I'm going to do this for the next 6 months, I'm going to do this for the next year, I'm going to do this for the next 2 years, I'm going to inevitably make this work, and I'm going to go all in and do whatever it takes. As soon as you kind of detach yourself from the now and instead place yourself in the future and focus on that, that's when results come easily. That's when they come.
What is bro yapping about? Honestly. Dang. Hey, I kind of rock a hat, man. I don't know the last time I wore a hat. Alternate reality life path. This is me in a different life. This is me in a different life as a businessman. And in a lot of ways, here's the difference. He's a businessman. I'm a businessman. man. You guys just don't get it. If you were the NBA commissioner, would you secretly allow LeBron to use PEDs? Listen, buddy. If I was the NBA commissioner, everybody on the court would look like Joe Rogan. There would be a league-wide steroid mandate. You'd have to be on them. Okay? I'm not running a little fucking baby league. You know, I'm not running a baby league where everyone's on steroids. Either get on steroids or get literally crushed when the person on steroids runs into you. Okay? We're going hat the rest of the stream. Your hat says vacation. He is on vacation. I actually don't even know where this hat came from. The NBA already released the schedule. They released some of it. Bald with small dick league? No, we'd drop your pants and there'd be a dick measuring before every game.
Quickly. So detach yourself from the now. Do the things that you need to do
Sorry I said
to
that.
set your future self up, and inevitably you'll.
I'm sorry I said that because I've learned recently I have family who watches these streams. So I apologize for saying that and
Also,
potentially embarrassing
if you
my
guys
family
want
name.
A free guide, free training on how to build Faces YouTube channels. Comment down below training, and I will DM it over to you. So.
Me and this guy should collab. I guess we need to get to the meat potatoes of this stream, huh? Oh, God, man, these August streams. What's actually sad about this in a lot of ways is there's actually still stuff to talk about right now. Like we're only a few weeks away from there actually being nothing to discuss. So you think he'll be going with Nick to interview players this preseason? No, I don't. It's in Vegas. I don't think that they're even going to allow people. NBA Cup schedule released tomorrow. Who's in the Mavs little NBA Cup groups? Who's in the Mavs group again? They need to split up the fucking groups to have it be interconference. Because this shit's embarrassing how it, like, you look at this and it really, really sinks in how absolutely shit the East is. It really sinks in how garbage of a conference the East is, man. It really sinks in how bad it is. Anyways. Okay, Pelicans. Here's the thing. I'm in NOLA for a week. The week before Halloween. Or maybe even I'm there for Halloween. I don't really remember. And I'm hopeful and hoping that the Mavs play in NOLA. I feel like they usually play in New Orleans early in the year. I'll be there the 23rd through the 28th. I'm really hopeful that the Mavs play NOLA over that stretch. Predict the group winners? Oh, it's really impossible to know by now. I mean, this group sucks. The Timberwolves should easily win this group. The Thunder should easily win this group. My God, this group is insane. I'm picking the Mavs though to win this group. Let's go. Who's gonna win this group? We'll go with the Knicks. I mean, I'm just gonna go chalky here. Who's gonna win this group? You know, I'll throw one out there. I'll say the Pacers. They're the in-season tournament merchants, and then the Celtics. Sadly, have we even heard your in-season tournament Mavs take? I don't really have an in-season tournament take. That's kind of what I like about the in-season tournament. You don't really know. You know, it just depends on when you're catching some of these teams. Sorry, the dude in that one Blade video looks even more like you. That one is pretty uncanny. I think a lot of these lookalikes are. Somebody replied to this. Hate for you to find out this way over and over. Your online persona is basic. No, there's just a lot of dudes with long hair and blonde beards, and then everybody sends those people to me. Anytime somebody sees somebody with long hair and a beard, although this one's pretty fucking like this one's pretty striking. I'm not gonna lie to you. This one's a little striking. This one's pretty striking. I don't ever get called Thor. Now, I've been lifting weights, so we might be close to that. The hell? How's it going in here, guys? Slightly, you wearing a hat? Yeah, I'm wearing a hat. Yeah. This might be the first time I've ever worn a hat on stream. Huh? How's it look? All right, let's get to what we actually came here for. Olympics stock watch. Full NBA schedule released Thursday. An hour and a half into the stream, we finally get into what we came here to discuss and talk about. Who, out of all of the NBA players at the Olympics, and it's not, there is some misleading information here. It's not every NBA player. Some guys I just didn't put on here who didn't play. How did everybody do? Did their stocks go up or did their stocks go down? Now, naturally, NBA players being at the Olympics, the competition level is a little bit decreased. So most of the times the stocks have gone up, right? By and large. But this one has gone up. And I put everybody's list into here. I put all the NBA players who played in the Olympics into a list and I randomized it. So that's how we're going about it order-wise. Whose stock went up, whose stock went down in the Olympics this year. We're starting with Dennis Schroeder. If there's an international competition, Dennis Schroeder is going to improve his stock across the league. Let's not forget, it looked like Schroeder was out of the NBA. When was that? Was that the 2021 Olympics? Or was that the World Cup last year? Or was that during the Euro Cup? Either way, it looked like Schroeder was done in the NBA after a stint with the Celtics and then the Lakers. And then he just balled the fuck out in one of the international competitions. And then he's back in the NBA now. And, of course, he's on a multiple-year deal with the Brooklyn Nets currently. We'll see if he finishes out that contract with the Nets. I'd have to imagine no. But 17 points per game for Schroeder, 7.5 assists per game. That's fifth in the tournament. 45% from the field, 39% from three. Did struggle a little bit in the knockout games, 14 points a game, 36% from the field, 3 turnovers per game. So some farming in some of the group play games, but 26 points and 9 assists against France to win the pool. So, again, anytime Dennis Schroeder happens in an international stage, we're like, whoa, maybe Dennis Schroeder can get back to that sixth man of the year territory. Like, there's just give him on the right team, give him the ball. And in Brooklyn, with their current roster setup, somebody's going to have to be doing stuff. Would it be that surprising if it's January and we're like, wait, Dennis Schroeder's averaging 15 points and 6 assists? Like, what the fuck's going on there? I guess we'll see. I mean, Yabusele, you got to talk about Gershon Yabusele. Yabusele. And now here's the thing with pronunciation, guys. It's going to be a little bit rough on my end, and I apologize for that. Obviously, he's not an NBA player. He hasn't been an NBA player in years. However, did anybody's stock go up more than this guy's? I saw a tweet today that the Cleveland Cavaliers were a team to watch in the Yabusele sweepstakes. I also saw him tweet out that he's ready for another opportunity. I was kind of wondering, would Yabusele leave? He's at Barcelona, right? Or is he at Madrid? He's at one of the two. Would he leave there to go be a 11th man in the NBA? But the thing is, all of these guys dream about making the NBA, right? So just being in the league at Real Madrid, he's the 6th, 7th player. Just being in the league means you're a step closer. Obviously, you've achieved your goal, but you're a step closer to maintaining that goal. 19.6 points per game in the knockout games on 55% shooting, 66% on twos. Posterized. LeBron James, he tweeted that he's been waiting for an opportunity, and he should get it. An interesting game, a post game, incredibly strong, ferocious down low, can space the floor a little bit, hard-nosed defender. Definitely deserves an NBA chance. Like that's a player who's not only a rotation player, but like is a rotation player for a good team. I don't think he has an NBA out clause. Interesting. He's an extremely lazy player on a game-to-game basis. And he wasn't great in the pool games. But, you know, maybe this was the springboard that he needed to get back to where he wants to be, which is the NBA. Crazy to think he was actually the 16th overall pick. Yeah, and there is he was drafted semi-high in the draft by a team that kind of knows what they're doing in the Celtics. Now, granted, this was a while ago, but what team would you want to see him on to maximize his potential? I mean, the Cavs are kind of interesting. He does make sense. I mean, to bring the Mavs into this, he does make sense as a Maxi Kleber replacement. Like it does actually make sense. So keep an eye on Yabusele. He has a $2.5 million NBA buyout clause. Interesting. Mo Wagner. Just feel like Mo Wagner had a Mo Wagner tournament. Again, like I said, we're talking about every NBA player, so there's going to be some that are just kind of boring. 9.8 points per game on 50% from the floor. He was a plus 7.2 in net rating, which was one of the best of the tournament. Yeah, I mean, do you feel any differently about Mo Wagner now than you did heading into the tournament? Not really. No. Not really. Isaac Bonga. Again, not an NBA player. Was once an NBA player. Hasn't been in the league in 2 years. But I do need to shout him out. Not because of the hair, but because one of the things with Bonga was that he could not shoot at all. But he's 6'8", with an interesting skill set. That's why he got drafted where he did. This idea that he could sort of play make at his size and be a good defender. But he was a 30% three-point shooter in the NBA and ultimately, fizzled out of the league. But he shot 58% from three in this tournament on 4 attempts per game, which was the highest among anybody with 15 or more attempts. So just something to keep in mind here. That it wouldn't surprise me too much if Bonga gets another shot in the league at some point. He looks 35. I don't know what to say to that, but yeah. Shout out to him. 58% from three. It's pretty crazy. I mean, small sample size, but that was the thing. That was the thing that was against him. Jock Landale had an incredible tournament. A really, really good tournament. I mean, he was genuinely has a case that he was Australia's best player in this tournament. 17.5 points per game. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Josh Giddey. 14.5 points per game. 8.8 rebounds per game on 63% shooting. Nearly a 17-point double-double in group play games. And played pretty good defense on Jokic in the quarterfinals. Obviously, they choked on their own dick in that game, for lack of a better word. But he was honestly pretty damn good. And I was just he's on the Rockets, and I was just kind of monitoring how certain fan bases felt about these players. And Rockets fans are pretty excited with how Jock Landale played in this tournament and how he sort of factors in just for their center depth. I mean, he's not going to be their starter. Might not even be their first guy off the bench. But he played really well, man. I did see the Australia women's breakdancer. She's getting a ton of shit. I don't really feel like piling on much. All right, Rudy Gobert. How can his stock not take a massive hit here? I mean, 3 points per game over the whole tournament. 2 points across 21 total minutes in the knockout games with 5 total rebounds and 0 blocks. Pretty much completely and totally out of the rotation in the last 2 games. And there's this weird sort of, well, actually his finger was injured. Well, actually his finger wasn't injured. No, we just benched him. Bring in Defensive Player of the Year, rim protector, getting played off the court with no 3-second rules just says it all. Yeah, I mean, how can his stock not take a massive hit? And also, it is shocking when the ball is in his hands and he has to do something off it. It is shocking how bad he is. It is really surprising. It's a testament to how incredible he is defensively, how good of a rebounder he is, how good of a screen and roll guy he is, that he has been this valuable in the NBA for so long with this terrible of a bag offensively. I mean, it is really bad, guys. It's actually insane how terrible it is. How can his stock not take a massive hit after that? I mean, damn. 21 total minutes in the knockout games. 2 points. Yeah, I mean, imagine being a Nuggets fan and you're watching the Olympics and you're seeing what Rudy Gobert's doing out there. That fucking turnaround jumper, man. Unbelievable. Devin Booker, his stock to me skyrocketed. Skyrocketed. He didn't. It's kind of weird to say because this is a guy who's gotten MVP votes in his career. This is a guy who's been a first-team All-NBA guy. This is a guy who has been the best player on a team that went to the NBA Finals. This is a guy who has dropped 70 points in a game. So we know what Devin Booker can do as a scorer. We know what he can do offensively. What Devin Booker did in this tournament was remarkable to me. Just playing a role so incredibly well. I mean, he was so incredible in his role. I think a very good argument that he was the third best player on Team USA. 11.7 points per game, 56% from the field, 56% from 3 on 23 total attempts. He had a positive plus-minus in every game he played in. I think him and Kevin Durant are the only 2 on Team USA who can say that. And he played really well defensively. So you got to give D-Book a ton of props. And there was a tweet back last year after the World Cup where Kyle Kuzma said that Team USA has to find stars that are willing to be role players in the Olympics. And Devin Booker quoted that and said, I'll do it. And he did. Played hard defense. I mean, he was great. And he deserves a ton of props for how well he played in his role. Really, really impressed by him. Bam Adebayo, is a little bit up. I mean, 6 points per game for Bam in this tournament. Didn't do anything crazy, but he was really, really good defensively, especially when he had to defend out on the perimeter. And I'm hopeful that people who are just watching this tournament, who don't watch the Heat very often or don't watch Bam very often, really got to see how fucking good this guy is defensively and how he has a real legitimate argument for being the best defender in basketball. Which, speaking of that, I did get word from NBAU that he is releasing his best defender in basketball bracket this week. You guys know how we like to do those. So that could be something that we do later in the week. I'm excited for that. Do you think the Celtics would have a decent chance to beat Team USA? Yeah, for sure. Ant should go down a little. We'll get to Ant in a second. And another thing that I want to point out here for Bam Adebayo, he did shoot 9 threes in this tournament. So over a 3 per game, and he went 3 of 9. Now, I've mentioned this. I've talked about this before. The first 50 games of last season, Bam Adebayo never shot threes. He was always end of shot clock grenades or whatever the case may be. Very rarely did he shoot a 3. I think it was something like 0.3 3-point attempts per game. Over the last 20 games, of 3.5 a game, he attempted 1.5 threes per game. So that was clearly something that the Heat initiated at the end of the season. Bam Adebayo shooting threes. And he averaged over a 3 game in the Olympics. Just something to watch. A floor spacing Bam Adebayo is a different player. It is a different player. Bamonte, as Dwayne Wade would say, Bamonte. His mother called him Bamonte. I'm going to call him Bamonte. Guys, did you hear? Bamonte. Hey, guys. Hey. Bamonte. Did you guys hear me? Thought Dwayne Wade did a pretty good job, actually. Joel Embiid. Wow. What an interesting one this is, huh? What an interesting one. Got a DNP in this tournament. Had 0 field goals in the gold medal game. And it looked for a second, when it looked like Serbia was actually maybe going to beat Team USA, how could his reputation possibly recover from this? How is it even possible? Dwight Powell! 6 months to the slight delusional club. I scored more than Jason Tatum in the Olympics. Hey, we'll get to Dwight Powell. However, when everything was on the line, Embiid played his best game of the tournament and what was maybe, honest to God, the biggest game of his life and the biggest moment of his career. 19 points in the semifinals versus Serbia. Played some really good defense on Jokic. And his little burst there in the second half was pretty much the reason USA got back into that game. So it went up a little bit. I don't really know. Also proved he's the only person in the NBA who can guard Jokic. I mean, LeBron guarded Jokic pretty well at the end of that game. But yes, he did a great job on Jokic. Outplayed Jokic in the biggest game of Embiid's life at that point. So I think ultimately it's a stock bump for Embiid. But it was trending in a very, very, very bad direction. Very bad direction. But you got to give props. Embiid did guard him a little bit in the third. But by the end of it, it was LeBron pretty much. Josh Giddey. All right. So I did fall into this trap a year ago. Josh Giddey had a really good World Cup. And I was like, all right, here comes Josh Giddey. This is going to be the year he figures it out. I never really was big on Josh Giddey. But last year, after the World Cup, I thought that it was his time, and it wasn't. He had the worst season of his career and just stuck out like a sore fucking thumb on that Thunders team. But in this tournament, as the guy for Australia, 17.5 points per game, 7.8 rebounds per game, 6 assists per game. Him and Jokic are the only two players in the tournament to be top 11 in all three of those categories. 50% from the field. Interestingly, I think more interesting than any other stat here. 47% from three. Now, keep in mind, it is a bit of a shorter three-point line. And a lot of people think that that really helps his shot. 25 points versus Serbia in the quarterfinals. Now, they did, again, Australia shit all over themselves and collapsed in that game. And a big reason for that was the fact that Giddey had 7 turnovers. And that was a big-time problem for him. He averaged 5 turnovers in this tournament, had 5 or more turnovers in 3 out of Australia's 4 games. So his stock did go up. The turnovers were a little bit concerning. But if you're a Bulls fan, you got to feel good. You got to feel good about what you saw from Josh Giddey in this tournament. Is Giddey another Cade Cunningham? I think Cade Cunningham is better than Josh Giddey. Cade is very good. You guys will see it next year if you watch the Pistons. Anyone who watches the Pistons. So there's probably about 10 to 15 of you who will see it next year. But trust me, you're going to see it. Anthony Davis, I mean, do you feel any differently about Anthony Davis now than you did at the start of the tournament? Played really, really good defensively. I mean, maybe it's not fair to have Bam rise up a little bit and have AD stay the same, but Bam shooting threes is very interesting to me. AD, 8.3 points per game, 62% from the field, 1.5 blocks per game, 1.2 steals per game. I mean, it's what you expected. It's what you expected out of AD, and AD did AD things. He was really good defensively. The Friar Stin with $4.99. Here's a coffee or whatever, champ. Thanks, champ. You know, my Starbucks coffee, I have so many pumps of this, that. My coffee's usually about $13. So I'll save up, though. I'll save up. Bulls won the Giddey trade. Hey. Santi Aldama. Interesting tournament for him. He looked like the go-to lead guy for España. And he played pretty well, man. I was very interested by what I saw from what I saw from Santi Aldama. 17 points per game, the 11th best across the whole tournament. 9.3 rebounds per game, which is the 4th best. I mean, there's, especially in an international setting, you watch him. It really sticks out. This guy's like 7 feet tall. I mean, he doesn't play like it. You don't think of him as a 7-footer, but he's fucking huge. He was pretty inefficient, though. 41% from the field, only 35% on twos. That's a problem he's had in the NBA as well. 45% from three, though, and 94% from the free throw line. And he had 27 points for Australia. Against Australia. So, Aldama, with a good showing in these Olympic Games. Really impressive stuff. Lou Dort! Do we feel any differently about Lou Dort now? Do you feel any differently now about Lou Dort than you did before the tournament? No. I mean, he played fine, right? It was a very disappointing showing from Team Canada, but he played good defense. He did foul out in 2 of their 4 games, 33% from 3. He did have the best plus-minus on Team Canada across everyone. But he fouled out, again, he fouled out of 2 of 4 games, so just fine. He was fine. Steph Curry. Now, it's hard to believe that a guy like Steph Curry can see his stock go up after everything he's done in his career. The all-time leading three-point scorer. A multiple-time MVP. A 4-time finals champion. I thought that, like, honestly, I thought guys like Steph and LeBron, like, they would just stay the same because how can you really go up? But Steph, the golden dagger, the final 2 minutes of the gold medal game, it's iconic. Like, it is iconic. And that's, like, all of the amazing stuff he's done in his NBA career, like, those shots are going to be some of the first highlights you see when he retires. Which is insane to think about, that could happen in the Olympics, especially for Team USA when you just kind of expect them to take care of business. But he was plus 86 over the course of the tournament. That was the best. Obviously, Team USA is going to be at the top of all of that, but he was the best. 7 points per game, 35% from the field, 25% from 3 over the first 4 games of the tournament. Then he scored 36 in the semifinals on 12 of 19 from the field, 9 of 14 from 3. 36 points was the most points anybody scored in a single game in this tournament, which Luka was there. He would have crushed that. 24 points in the gold medal game, 8 of 13, 8 of 12 from 3. And what was it, 4 in the last 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes? The French commentators called him a devil. Yeah, I did see that. That was insane. I mean, just an incredible moment for Steph. 2 incredible moments. Steph going crazy in the first half of that game against Serbia. I don't know where Team USA is at if they don't get that in the first half from him. Now, you could say somebody else would have contributed, and that's probably true. There's just so much talent on Team USA. But they were really struggling early on in that game, and he was just keeping them within reach. It's how bad of a shot it was, but still made it. That was incredible. Anybody else that's a bad shot, you 100% live with Steph. You 100% live with Steph taking that shot. Giannis, again, kind of similar to Steph. You don't really think, how much can a guy like Giannis really improve his stock in the Olympics? I think his do go up only because Greece is so bad. Like, the surrounding cast for Giannis is horrendous. But Giannis was incredible. 25.8 points per game. That was the most in the tournament. 67% from the field. 73% on twos. Was just unstoppable. In FIBA's little efficiency rating thing that they have, he was second. And he carried Greece to the knockout stage by himself. There was not a lot going on his roster. And he played really well. And just, I think, sort of solidified himself. Like, yeah, Giannis is obviously a top 3 player in the league. It's been a little bit disappointing in the playoffs for the Bucks each of the last 2 years. Not really Giannis's fault because he was hurt in both of those series, but yeah, I smashed Luka in the qualifying tournaments as well. That's true. Carlick Jones, hey, former Dallas Maverick. Just want to give a quick little shout out to him. South Sudan was a lot of fun to watch in this tournament. Was really hoping that they would figure out a way to make it into the knockout stages, but 18 points per game, which was 10th, 7.7 assists per game, which is 3rd, and a triple-double versus Team USA in a friendly. I couldn't figure out if this was true or not, but I saw people say that he was the first player to ever put up a triple-double against Team USA. I don't know if that's true or not, but hey, congratulations to Carlick Jones. Once a Mavs legend, always a Mavs legend. 46% from the field as well. Don't know if he'll have another shot at the NBA after this, but hey, kudos to him. Bogdan. I mean, how can Bogdan not go up? It was a kind of a slow start to the tournament for him, but he was massive in the knockout stages. 20 points against Team USA in the semifinal, talking shit the entire time, death staring Carmelo Anthony on the sideline. Love to see it. 16 points on 6 of 12 shooting against Germany in the bronze medal game. 18 points per game over the course of the tournament. That's 8th, 46% from 3 on 6.5 attempts per game. Former Mav. Yeah. That's right. Former Mav. He was really good in this tournament. So kudos to Bogdan Bogdanovic. And obviously, you could tell how much it meant to him, how distraught he was when Serbia couldn't close it out against Team USA in the semifinals. Shout out to Bogey. Anthony Edwards. So, unfortunately, you guys know how much I love Ant. His stock does take a hit here for me. And let me sort of explain why. He wasn't terrible in this tournament at all. 12.8 points per game. He was leading Team USA in scoring for quite a bit of time. 10 points combined over the last 2 games with 3 turnovers, 0 assists in 23 minutes. There's really no reason why, and there is a reason, and I'll get to it, but in theory, we talked about earlier Devin Booker and just how great he was and how he just said, I'll play this role that you guys need me to play and just do incredibly well in that role. There's really no reason why Ant couldn't have done that. But here's the thing, though. I don't think Ant is the quick split-second decision maker that Devin Booker is. I don't think Ant has this word that people have created, the portability that Devin Booker has. And you look at this team and you look at this roster, there's a lot of talk about Anthony Edwards being top 10, being whatever. And then you watch Steph, you watch KD, you watch LeBron. And it is like, damn, you even watch D-Book. It's like, how close is Anthony Edwards actually to these guys? Like, how close is he? Really, realistically. Is he, like, really that close to these guys? We want to put him in all of these big conversations. And look, I've put him in some big conversations. I obviously think the MJ comparisons are insane and really unfair to him. I feel like you leave this tournament thinking he's further away from the real top tier guys than I felt he was entering the tournament, if that makes sense. But again, he wasn't like terrible, but I was just kind of expecting more. I was just expecting a little bit more from Anthony Edwards in this tournament. Dante Exum. Now, this might be a little bit harsh. I feel like if I weren't a Mavs fan, I would say that it went up. Let me explain why I have him just kind of staying the same. 11 points per game, 4 assists per game. Looked really good at times. However, when games tightened up for Australia, Exum was just kind of a no-show and didn't really make much of an impact, which is kind of what we saw at times with the Mavs. And that's why he could just kind of stays the same for me. Because I saw that and I'm like, oh, well, if that's what Exum's going to do in big, huge moments, he's just not going to be able to be out there. And that's what happened in the playoffs for the Mavericks, unfortunately. Despite how big and good Dante Exum was for most of the league, or most of the season for the Mavs. Exum will be great in the regular season, which is all we need, to be honest. Yeah. Rui Hachimura stays the same for me as well. And he was pretty good in the 2 games he played. 22 points per game. That was second. Again, he only played 2 points. He only played 2 games, sorry. 24 points on 10 of 16 shooting in Japan's near upset of France before fouling out on what was just a horrible personal foul call. Just an absolutely horrible one. He got bullshitted. But then here's the thing. Injured in the last game. Didn't play the last game because of injury. This is the Rui Hachimura experience. Looked really good in the first 2 games. It's fun and exciting, and you see the game that Rui Hachimura has, and it's like, okay, there's something there. Like, that's like a good NBA player right there. Big with his size, who can like shoot and pull up and do things off the dribble, play defense. Oh, injured the last game? Okay. Well, that's Rui Hachimura. FIBA Patty. I don't know if Patty Mills is going to play in the NBA this year. It's sort of similar to Dennis Schroeder. And I guess Patty Mills is the OG of this. Any international competition, Patty Mills is here to boost his stock, baby. It's FIBA Patty. 16.5 points per game, 40% from 3. He had 26 points in the quarterfinals against Serbia, 28 points and 5 assists in a win against Serbia in a friendly, 24 points on 63% shooting against France in a friendly. I mean, we know what FIBA Patty does. I don't know if this performance has some NBA teams out there looking for a vet presence. Like, all right, we'll bring Patty in because he's been shit in the NBA for a long time now. He has not been a good NBA player for quite some time, but I almost feel like he's sort of riding on the back of some of these international performances. But, another pretty solid performance from Patty Mills. Derek White, I mean, do we leave this tournament feeling any differently about Derek White than we did entering it? I don't really think so. 3.8 points per game, 7 minutes in the semifinals, was a DNP in the gold medal game. Derek White, a late addition to the Team USA roster. You got to love him. He's got a face only a mother could love. Micic. Despite my frustrations with him at times in that USA game, his stock did go up. He played well in this tournament. 8 points on 3 of 10 shooting, 2 of 7 from 3 in that game against Team United States of America. But in the other 5 games of the tournament, 14.5 points per game, 50% from the field, 36% from deep, 5 assists per game, only 1 turnover per game. Had 19 points against Germany in the bronze medal game. He looked good. He looked like he could be an NBA player. He stunk. He stunk in the USA game for sure. Josh Green. How can you not be almost saddened by this? I mean, what's there even to say? Now, I was trying to do some research yesterday. Is there a injury that we don't know about here? Because Josh Green did not score a single point in the Olympics and ended up losing his spot in the rotation entirely to Matthew Dellavedova in 2024. Is it the elbow? An injured psyche? An injury to his confidence? Well, Delly still plays for the national team, yes. And he got into the rotation over Josh Green, who did not score a single point in this tournament. I mean, hard not to feel pretty good if you're the Dallas Mavericks after that. Feels like you kind of sold high for the Charlotte Hornets. I mean, you didn't give up anything to get them, but it's still just kind of like we thought you were like kind of good. Ugh. Nikola Jovic, who I have said is a sneaky. Most improved player of the year candidate to me. And he just was not very good in this tournament. 4.2 points per game, 43% shooting, 30% from 3, 5 total minutes in the knockout stage. Now, there's some rumors that he was injured and played sick and was a little sick. So, there is that. But the thing that concerns me with him is defensively. he just doesn't look that good. And that's the big concern with him, that he's just not good defensively at all. He was injured, not rumors. I was saying more rumors about the sick stuff. Hey! Yuki Kawamura, 5'8", 5'7". Looks like he could honestly be shorter than that. He does have an Exhibit 10 contract with the Memphis Grizzlies, so he's technically sniffing around the NBA. 20 points per game, which was 4th in the whole tournament. 7.7 assists per game, which is 3rd. 29 points against France, 21 and 10 against Brazil. 40% from 3 on nearly 11 attempts per game. Do you know how good you have to be at basketball to be that small? And play that well? Like, the amount of skill you have to have is actually insane. Because if a 6'2" guy is even like 70% as skilled as you, they're better than you. If a 6'5" guy is even like 50% as skilled as you, they're better than you. Absolutely insane. Got to give a huge shout out to him. 5 inches taller than Muggsy Bogues. That is crazy. I'm telling you right now, he's listed as 5'8". Draw DQ. You might want to just get out of here for this one, man. Jamal Murray. Yeah, I mean, it takes a massive hit here. 6 points per game, 29% from the field, 14% from 3. Had a negative plus minus in 3 of the 4 games that Canada played. Had 7 points on 3 of 13 shooting against France when they got upset in the knockout stages. Man, he was a fiasco out there. And what's more concerning is just how he looks physically. You know, again, I've talked about this with Jamal Murray in this tournament. He's got a 4-game sample size. A rough shooting stretch there. You know, if that shit happens, whatever, you can kind of look past it. It's just, he physically doesn't look right. He physically does not look right. So I'm assuming that calf is still bothering him. He just doesn't look as quick. He looks indecisive. I don't know if he's kind of like, he's just not used to not having this quickness that he's used to. And he's not like an uber athletic player, but he does use that quickness and shiftiness to his advantage. And man, it was rough this year for him in this tournament. Rough. It's a little spooky. A little tiny bit spooky if you are a Denver Nuggets fan after seeing that. Now, hopefully 2 months off can sort of get him right, but man, a little spooky. Shea had a really good tournament, but I feel pretty much the same about Shea as I did entering the tournament. 21 points per game, which is 3rd. We knew he was a great scorer. 2 of 9 from 3 over his last 3 games. You know, the 3-point shot with Shea kind of comes and goes. 27 points in the quarterfinals versus France. He was putting the team on his back, very similar to what we saw in that OKC Mavericks series, where Shea at times was pretty much the only offense they had. Shea didn't give me as much as I expected. Yeah, that's why he stays the same. It wasn't like a really big carry job like we saw Giannis, which is why I put Giannis as up and not Shea. There's also, I'm waiting for a bigger playmaking leap for Shea. Because all these talks, I say it all the time, Shea's, to me, there's a level offensively that Shea's not at with certain other guys like Luka, like Jokic. I would even say like a Giannis. And the reason why I say that is because there's playmaking attributes these guys have that I don't think Shea does. And even when he's in takeover mode, in that game against France, he went into takeover mode for 6 or 7 minutes, and it felt like nobody else touched the basketball. And I know that I'll say that, and people say, well, what about, Luka's a ball hog. Luka's not a ball hog to that magnitude. Luka's looking to pass. Okay? He does need a 3-point shooting volume leap. He does need to shoot more threes. Because he is good at it. He was like 50% on step-back threes in the playoffs. Like, he's a good shooter. He does need to shoot more, though. But, I mean, again, Shea had a good tournament, though. Shea had a good tournament. Just, not good enough to change my opinion of him, like in any real way, shape, or form. I still think he's a top 5 player in the world. So LeBron. How can LeBron's stock possibly go up? How about being 39 years old and being the guy on Team USA? MVP of the tournament, 14 points per game, 6.8 rebounds per game, 8.5 assists per game, which was second. It was really fun to watch LeBron sort of be the Magic Johnson of this team, the quarterback, operating things, playmaking for others. He was fourth in FIBA's efficiency thing, 77% on two-pointers. When he still gets downhill, he's unstoppable, puts his shoulder into you. Nothing you can do about it whatsoever. 15 points per game, 8 rebounds per game, 10 assists per game in the last 2 games for Team USA, plus 31 over those 2 games. In 2 close games that came down to the wire, he was a plus 31. The GOAT, man. He's the GOAT. Hasn't closed out to finish since the bubble, but it doesn't matter. And the defense on Jokic was impressive. I know Jokic was in foul trouble, whatever. It was good. 27 of 30 at the rim. Jesus, man. I'm telling you. I'm telling you right now, there's a world where he is playing in the next Olympics. I really would not put it past him. It sounds insane. That tweet is the fuckery won't continue much longer. When was that tweet? Like 2016? LeBron can't be doing this much longer. This fuckery can't go on much longer. MVP of the tournament. And I thought it was well-deserved, too. People said it should have been Steph. Steph was incredible the last 2 games, but, I mean, LeBron really he was the quarterback of this team for the entire tournament. So it had to be LeBron. Franz's stock goes up for me. You guys know I'm a fanatic. Okay, there's still some stuff with Franz that's a little bit concerning. I get all of that. Okay? 28 points on 9 of 24 shooting in the semifinal and bronze medal game combined. So we remember game 7 left a weird taste in our mouth. 18.5 points per game in this tournament, which was 7th. 20% on threes. That's still quite the concern here for Franz, but he did shoot nearly 70% on twos in the first 4 games of the tournament and was great defensively all tournament long. He was second team all tournament. He was really good, man. He was really good. The 3-point shot has to get there. It has to get there for him to really take like a legit all-star leap. KD, I originally had KD's stock staying the same because, I mean, realistically, do you feel any differently about KD now than you did going into this tournament? The reason why I had LeBron's go up is because it is like, holy fuck, LeBron's 39 years old, and he's still probably a top 6 or 7 player in the world. Same thing with Steph, where it's like the Warriors are kind of disappointing, and they're probably not going to be very good this year, but he's still capable of looking like the best player on the planet at any given time. KD just kind of maintained it. The reason why his stock is going up is he is now the most decorated men's basketball player that there's ever been. So, in the Olympic Games. So for that, I will raise his stock. Became the leading scorer in Team USA history. I believe has more golds now than anybody else. And he did shoot 51% from 3. And that first game against Serbia, 23 points on 8 of 9 shooting. I mean, come on. That was crazy. Jokic. His stock does go up. He was incredible in this tournament. Probably the best player in this tournament. 18 points per game, which was 6th. 10.7 rebounds per game, first. 8.1 assists per game, first. Only player top 6 in all 3 categories. Only player top 10 in all in 3 categories. Of course, I said earlier, him and Giddey were the only 2 in the top 11 because Giddey, I think, was 11th in scoring. 19, 12, and 11 in the bronze medal game. 31 efficiency, the FIBA efficiency stat, which was the highest by a huge margin in this tournament. Serbia dominated the minutes when he was on the court. The only game with a plus-minus was the semifinals against Team USA, where I don't think he played a great game, especially for Jokic's standards. And I do think if Jokic played a little bit better, Serbia might have won that game. But he was incredible in this tournament. His jumper is broken, but I think it can be fixed. I think he's just in a weird sort of shooting slump. But shout out to Jokic, man. It's just like anytime, because it is. Jokic has been in these conversations for so long that you do kind of get fatigued with it. You almost want to be like, oh, maybe Jokic is like the third best player in the league now, and maybe this guy's ahead of him. Maybe this guy's ahead of him. But then you watch him play, and it's just like, no, he's still incredible. Drew's stock is going to go up a little bit for me. Don't feel like too differently about Drew. Don't feel too differently about Drew leaving the tournament as I did entering it. We know who Drew Holiday is. 50% from three. It is interesting. Drew Holiday, you look at the roster, he does sort of stick out. Not that he's not a great player, he is, but that, the NBA is just full with all NBA guys, all-stars, and Drew's made an all-star game, but you know what I'm saying. And Drew you watch him play, and he does not look like he's out of place. Like, hardly ever does it look like, what's Drew doing out there? Like, it's just like, oh, Drew's really good. And he joined Scottie Pippen as the only players to ever win a gold medal in a finals in the same year twice. So there you go. Drew did it this year, obviously, with the Celtics. And then in 2021 with the Bucks. So there's a little interesting little tidbit there. But if you don't watch basketball very often, you probably entered this tournament going, who the fuck's Drew Holiday? Like, I've heard of him, but he's really on this team. And you left it thinking, oh, yeah, Drew Holiday's a really good basketball player. Some people say that this has solidified him as a Hall of Famer. What do you guys feel about that? I don't know how I feel about Hall of Fame. I don't really feel too strongly about it one way or the other, though. All right, well, Jason Tatum. I mean, how has his stock not... have we ever seen something like this? Have we ever seen something like this? A player who was widely considered a top 5 or around top 5 player in the league. A player who just won the NBA Finals. Then a few months later wins the gold medal for the Olympics. Have we seen a player's stock take a hit like this? And a lot of it's just online shit posting. But as a player, you feel a little differently about him. Obviously, getting DNPs and pretty much being out of the rotation by the end of the tournament is a little bit surprising. Did get some minutes in the gold medal game, and just looked fine in them. Didn't look great. I mean, it's about... It's a little surprising how this all went down, because a lot of this is political. Okay, you have to understand, a lot of this stuff is political. Tatum is, you'd have to imagine, viewed as one of the faces of Team USA moving forward, because you would like to think Steph, KD, and LeBron will more than likely not be there in 2028, 4 years from now. You just look at the team and who's on it. Tatum kind of slots into being the guy next time. Tatum, Anthony Edwards, and he's getting DNPs. His mom is upset on Twitter. He's posting subliminal Instagram stories. Vince Staples saying we will avenge Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum sharing that on his Instagram story. He's got all NBAs, first team all NBAs. He's got a ring. He's got gold medals. He's one of the most decorated players we've seen as a 26-year-old. And it's like, how do you feel worse about him than you did maybe a year ago? It's really bizarre. Like, he was first team all NBA this year. He won the NBA Finals. He won a gold medal. And I feel worse about him than I did last year. But you want to know why? According to Jason Timpf, he was 0 of 17 on jumpers. In friendlies and in the Olympics. 0 of 17. He didn't make a 3. His jump shot has looked fucked for a long time now. It's just really weird. I mean, it's bizarre. It's bizarre. Drew Hanlon didn't even tweet one time about it. Is there something there? Does Drew Hanlon usually tweet about Tatum? They train together. If he got drafted to Charlotte, he'd be fighting for his second contract somewhere. All right. See, I don't agree with that. Tatum is still a really good basketball player. But it does feel like I had him as top 5 at my end of season top 100 rankings, because I did like what he did in the playoffs. I liked his playmaking. I liked his defense. His shot wasn't there, but I thought he contributed in a lot of different ways. But man, I will have to reconsider that. It's very strange. A few left. Bilal Coulibaly went up a little bit. I mean, didn't really do much. Didn't get like a ton of minutes or anything like that, but did look very good defensively when he was out there, which is Bilal's sort of calling card. DMP in the quarterfinals and the semifinals, but did get some gold medal game run. Offensively, still looks a little bit rough, but played pretty well defensively. So give him a little bit of a shout out. RJ Barrett, Star J, huge boost. He was great in this tournament. And if you just go back to how he's looked since getting traded to the Raptors, he's been pretty fucking good. 19.8 points per game in this tournament. That was the 5th most. 58% from the field. 43% from 3 on 4 attempts per game. Him and Shea were clearly the 2 best guys on Canada in this tournament. And he was really, really good. So shout out to RJ Barrett. Again, has just been really good since he got traded to the Raptors. So kudos to him. Dylan Brooks' stock does go down for me a little bit, which is kind of a shame because he did play pretty well at the start of this tournament, but played good defense, was really good in group play, 14 points per game, 60% from 3 in group play. However, why does his stock go down? Well, what's been the underlying question with Dylan Brooks' career so far? That you probably can't win a big game with him because, yes, he inevitably succumbs to ass play. Do with that what you will. 2 points on 1 of 9 against France in the quarterfinals. I mean, was a disaster. Was so bad in that game. So bad. That it's just like, oh, well, that's the Dylan Brooks that you expect. He's going to lose a game for you damn near. Andrew Nembhard stayed about the same for me. He had some really impressive moments, but 0 points on 0 shots against France. Not necessarily his fault, but watching that game, it did look like he was maybe a little scared. But that's about what I expected from Nembhard. Played good defensively. Had 19 points on 8 of 10 shooting against Spain. Yeah. I feel like I just feel about the same with Nembhard, which is a shame. I kind of was hoping for a bigger boost, but I mean, Tyrese Halliburton, well, we knew when we saw the roster, Tyrese Halliburton being the guy who didn't play was just kind of obvious. So nothing really to see there. They might be wondering, how does Tatum go down for not playing and not Halliburton? Tatum was supposed to be the guy. Like, this was damn near supposed to be like Tatum's team. His posting does go up. He was a great poster. He was a great sport during all of this. Nick Batum. Stock goes up. He's still getting it done. At his old age, signed a contract with the Clippers this offseason to go back. 35 years old. Still looks really good defensively. His stock goes up because, well, he played really well for the Sixers last year, but, you know, he threatened retirement. So it was like, could Nicholas Batum be done? And then he plays. You're like, no, Nicholas Batum, as long as he's healthy and playing, still looks to be a very solid rotation player. Dwight Powell. Steroids have gone up. Look how fucking broad his shoulders are. Keep that up, Dwight. Keep that up. My God. I'm saying Dwight Powell stays the same. He did play pretty well. He was 9 of 10 in this tournament, 90%. It's the best field goal percentage ever in the Olympics. That's what you can expect from Dwight Powell. Greatness. 6.5 points per game, 5.8 rebounds per game. The reason why he stays the same is Canada saw what happens when Dwight Powell is your starting center. And that's, you have a big size disadvantage and you struggle tremendously on the glass. stock's up. He looked a little washed sometimes this year. No, he stays the same for me because this is who Dwight Powell I know is. He's a great rim runner, great finisher around the rim when he gets the ball around the rim, plays really, really hard. But if he's your go-to guy, your starting center, then you're in some trouble. That's who I know Dwight Powell to be. I'm a Dwight Powell defender. Don't forget that. I've taken a lot of shit defending him over the years. Slightly, once I was in a burning car and a man ripped my door open and it was none other than Dwight Powell. And before my car blew up, he got under there and fixed it. Wow. Incredible. Jose Alvarado, shout out to GTA. His stock goes up. He played well for Puerto Rico. I don't really have much to say outside of that. 15 points per game, 48% from the field. He was the MVP in their qualifying tournament. Had 26 points against South Sudan, had 18 points against Team USA. GTA, Evan Fournier's stock goes down. I don't think he's on an NBA team currently and does not look like he's an NBA player at all. So his stock went down. It looks like his career is pretty much over in the NBA, at least. Dyson Daniels didn't do much offensively, but looked very good defensively. His stock goes up a little bit. 11 points per game in pool play, 38% from three. Looked really good defensively. Keep an eye on that. Yes, that one Fournier shot was crazy, but that's pretty much all he's got. Keep an eye on Dyson Daniels on the Atlanta Hawks this year. And we're closing it out here with Victor Wembanyama because this is probably going to be one of the more contentious ones. I thought his stock went up. I thought he played really well in this tournament. Now there are some things to clean up. 17 points per game. 48% from the field, 43% from deep in group play, 2 blocks per game, 2.5 steals per game, so 5.5 stocks per game. Now, he struggled mightily in the quarterfinals and in the semifinals. 9 points per game, 22% from the field. This is the correct number, 0.07% from three. Or I guess 7% from three. And it looked like it was like, okay, Wemby's kind of maybe has a further way to go than previously thought. And he was fucking awesome in the gold medal game, which is the biggest game of Wemby's life. 26 points per game, 11 of 19 from the field, 3 of 8 from three. He was awesome. Now he's got to get stronger. The post-up game's not where you want it to be. His hands have to get better. Feels like he struggles catching the ball at times, especially catching it and then immediately finishing. But defensively, he looks great. He has to get stronger. I think has to develop more of an inside game as well. I think he does settle for jumpers a little too often. But I believe the tournament feeling good about my Victor Wembanyama GOAT stock. He's 20 years old, guys. He's 20. He's 20 years old, just put up 26 points per game in a gold medal game when they were huge underdogs. Kudos to him, man. Finito. Thank you all. All right. We talked about all we want to talk about. I was hoping the stream would be an hour and a half. We're at 2.5 hours. And no Frank today. He's not in the NBA anymore. I forgot about Frank. There's some other guys I forgot about, like Carlick Jones. Or not Carlick Jones, sorry. Winion Gabriel. I didn't put him on here. It was getting late. I missed a Josh Green review. Well, it went way down. Well, you can watch it back on the Slightly Biased Clips channel. The Slightly Biased Clips channel where I will post clips from this stream. Duop yes, Duop also. I didn't put him. Who else did I miss? There was a couple other guys that I was like, eh. You were working late because you're a streamer. Winion Gabriel, Dwap Reith. Who else was I missing? I mean, I didn't put like a Yuta Watanabe on there because he's retired. Joe Ingles didn't play. Didn't put him on there. No, I talked about Yabusele. Bronny James? Yeah. Telling you, Bronny James on Team USA in 2028 is a leverage play by LeBron. Look out for it. Thank you all for coming out. I'm not sure what we're going to be doing on Wednesday yet. I'm hopeful. What I'm hopeful for is that NBAU drops his best defender in the NBA bracket, and we can do that. You guys know the bracket ones are fun. So if that's out by then that is what we will be discussing, and we'll be doing the bracket on stream. Those are always a lot of fun. But we're in August now, so we'll just play these streams by ear, and we'll figure it out as we go. Thank you all for coming out. All of the OGs, you guys know I love you very much. Could have spent your Monday afternoon anywhere in the world. You decided to spend it here. New subscribers, I promise you guys will not regret it. Donations, members, thank you guys so much. You never have to do that, but it helps me out tremendously. Makes me feel so good. You guys enjoy the rest of your Monday. I will talk to you all on Tuesday. If you missed anything from the stream, you can check it out on the Slightly Biased Clips channel. I have a big video that I'm working on. I don't want to get too deep into it, but there won't be a video on the channel for a while because I'm working on a big one. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Love you all. Bye.